Okay, here we are with our lesson on Qigong for migraine headaches due to liver qi stagnation and rising up as fire, or liver yin deficiency, not able to ground that fire. So you can see here I'm practicing the brush knee and push movement. It's also going to go into dragon stretches its claws, and this is one of your first principles, which is to gently release stagnation. As you may know, in our medical Qigong system, the first thing we always do is clear stagnation. In almost every case, there are some cases where you don't do it that way. But in the case of liver yin deficiency or liver stagnation where there's heat, we don't want to aggravate wind. We don't want to aggravate the system. And so what I'm encouraging here are movements like this, which are these kind of smooth movements. Now the video has been sped up so that I can get a lot of different material in here without having it take too long to watch. But you can go back and watch those originals and you'll see this at its pace. And the idea is these aren't those chi scattering exercises where you're bouncing all around and doing all that kind of stuff. These are the cloud hands exercise here. It's very, very fast. And the repulse monkey exercise and things like that that are meant to give this smooth motion of chi. Then we also have our yoga type stretches, and these as well are included in this liver meridian type work because they are meant to make the chi flow more smoothly. So as we're stretching out and breathing and elongating, the idea is that we're just loosening up the energy of that wood element. So to reiterate, the idea of liver qi stagnation in Taoist philosophy, the wood element is the upward growing energy in your body being. And it can tend toward stagnation because that can get stifled when we repress ourselves emotionally, or even when society has placed limits on what we're able to do. Then this energy that wants to grow up and change and move out and do all of this stuff, it can get blocked. And that energy of upwardness can actually turn into like an energy of tightness in the body. And that stagnation is said to form a kind of heat, as you know, because it's makes sense to me at least, because it's like a feeling of friction in the body, and as you know, friction creates heat. So when we're doing all of these stretches for the liver meridian and its conditions, basically what they're doing is they're getting this growing and outgrowing and stretching and going beyond that type of energy in your body and mind. And we are physically and emotionally getting back in harmony with that upward and outward. So instead of creating friction and heat, which then goes up into your head and creates headaches and eye strain and things like that, we have this smooth flow out into your extremities. We're not creating a lot of stress that's creating imbalances in us. So that's where these yoga exercises are in that theory. Okay, then you also have, once you've done this general opening, now you can do a little more removal of stagnation. So here is that guo sound, healing sound. You can go back and watch the video for that if you don't remember how to make that tone. But this is said in medical Qigong theory to be a very strong sound to purge the liver. And in our course, we just did 5 of these. But if you were working directly with a medical Qigong practitioner and you had that liver heat giving rise to headaches, you might do more. But 5 is a great one to start with. And the only thing to know is that if your headaches are arising from deficiency, you may not want to do all that much of that purging. And so you can kind of experiment, like what feels good and then what starts to not be as effective. Okay, then we also have our acupressure. So any Qigong protocol will include pressure points. This is gallbladder 21, and you can just press the point, but for a Qigong person, you want to send the energy down. So you're pressing that point, and then you're feeling as if it sort of shoots the Qi in the body down toward your feet. This point helps with headaches in general as a trigger point. Then we have gallbladder 20 at the base of the skull, and this is also a great one. As a massage therapist, I have found I've been able to help people have relief from their severe headaches and even migraines because they had a trigger point in here that referred back into the back of their eyeballs. But I want to caution you, if you are experiencing migraine, sometimes touching the points in your head will guide the chi there, and it'll actually increase your symptoms. So you have to figure out what works for you. You may want to do those points at the base of the skull, or you may want to lay off if you know that contact around your head is sensitive for you. Okay, back to stuff that everyone can and should do. This is that 10 dragons rushing through the forest. And so we've done dispersion. We've done a lot of different dispersion, and maybe those acupoints could be considered harmonizing as well. There's directing the chi down. Then this one is definitely a harmonizing or directive energy. So we are visualizing and feeling, taking the energy from the head down into the earth. Traditional Qigong prescriptions, you would do this 100 times, which only actually takes about 5 minutes. But they do say as you get more and more able to direct energy with intention, you don't need to do as much. And you can kind of feel this in the change of your symptoms. Then we also have in our course, we had pulling down the heavens with the shu sound. And this is similar and a little bit redundant to that 10 dragons. So this little survey course here in this video is not to say you should do all of these different exercises. It's actually just to give you the different options. And because I'm not there with you taking your pulse and saying, oh, this one's going to work better or this one's going to work better, you get to try them out and see what works for your body. So some people really respond well to this sense of vibration and sound. Other people like the self-massage aspect of the other one, or that you get to kind of flick the chi. So you get to do whatever feels best to you. So once again, the traditional recommendation would be about 100 times, which really, it only takes 5, maybe 10 minutes when you're doing these long breaths with the sounds. And these come from when you're really working with some kind of severe condition like migraines can be. The theory is that you're making a new template in your body mind. So every time you do this vibration, you feel this downward movement. And the notion these sounds have this sort of psychological correlation. We think, oh, that's the sound of the liver. That's the sound of smoothing the chi. And so we're laying that down in the psyche as a new template. So however long that takes, the traditional is like 10 minutes. Okay, then we have liver 3. Also another option. So like I said before, you don't have to do every one of these. Liver chi removes stagnation, and because it's on the foot, it also helps to pull the chi down. So again, because you're a Qigong practitioner, you don't just do the point, you feel and visualize this pulling the energy down out of the head and into the feet. Then spleen 6 is like the master point for tonifying the body's yin. So if you are liver yin deficient and the heat is rising up, again, you can go back and look up that video for these, what does liver yin deficiency mean, then spleen 6 would be a point to tonify, and you would just kind of feel and have the intention, may this tonify the cooling and grounding energies in the body. Okay, another option for tonification. So like I said, again, I'll just reiterate, because some people think, oh man, this is a lot of stuff. Do I really have to do all of this for my headaches? No, for a lot of us, it's just 10 minutes a day. Or for really severe stuff to make the new template, you do that little 5 or 10 minute session, you do it 4 times a day to get it in. But these are your options. You can change it up or you can find what works for you. So this is pulling up the earth's chi to tonify the kidneys and the dantian. And in that case, you would feel it tonifying that yin energy of those kidneys. The kidneys are the root of the body's yin and yang, so we use them to tonify the liver's yin. Similarly here, this tonifies the kidneys and the lower dantian, and it's also smoothing out that belt vessel, which you may remember from the previous course, helps to regulate the flow of energy from above and below in the body. So this can help not only tonify those organs, but to help the energy flow down through your legs to get out of your head. Okay, then we have our self-massage. These are just other aspects for your tonification. So maybe you saw your acupuncturist or your medical Qigong practitioner and they said, oh man, here's what's going on. Your spleen is too weak. It's not making enough blood. It's not extracting enough yin from your fluids. You got to tonify your spleen. And maybe you're doing the acupoint, spleen 6, and you're like, I don't know, but you really feel this one. according to our tradition, that's what you go with. Go with what really helps you to feel it. And so we had the visualization of gold and light in the spleen. And this is sort of advanced intermediate Qigong, but the thing you would do is you would visualize that and you would have the intent, may this tonification of the spleen promote the abundance of yin and blood that will anchor the qi of the liver so it doesn't float up and afflict my head. Okay, then we also had the kidneys, like before. This is the storehouse, or well, not really a storehouse, the root, although they do store, but classically they say the root of the body's yin and yang. So in this case, we're trying to tonify the yin. And so you would rub, we did the visualization of blue light filling the kidneys. And again, you could use that intention, following the old maxim, Yi Dao, Qi Dao. The intention guides the qi. So you have the intention, may this tonify my yin so that it can cool down and lubricate that liver so that that heat doesn't flare up and afflict the head. And then, of course, we had tonifying the liver itself. Now, just personally, in my experience in acupressure and medical Qigong clinically, tonifying the liver itself in this way is not usually as effective as doing those acupoints like spleen 6, but some people will need it. So just the advanced theory, is this type of exercise tends to tonify your qi. Qi tends to be a little warming, and so you don't really need to be warming up the liver there. You need to be tonifying its yin. So we tend to generally do that through the spleen, through the kidneys, and then use herbs to tonify the liver that directly tonify its yin and blood. Okay, your last exercise, the sort of master exercise here, is the beach vacation meditation. And you'll remember this one. The vacation aspect is important because the key, according to Qigong theory, is to regulating that liver, releasing stagnation, is to feel relaxed. One of the major formulas for releasing liver qi stagnation is called free and easy wanderer. And so you're supposed to imagine, like, what would it feel like to be on vacation? And you're at a beautiful beach, it's just the right sort of tropical temperature. And you imagine that where you're laying, there's a palm tree that shades just your torso and your head and leaves your limbs out in the sun. And so this is a biofeedback exercise. You want to heat up the hands and the feet just through imagining. You don't have to try too hard. If it doesn't come immediately, you just play pretend. These are old childhood mental muscles that we can restore. We play pretend. So you feel, oh yeah, what would it be like if my hands and feet are warm and my torso was cool? And this is because what migraines do is it's an excess of blood flow to your head. So you want to actually train the body to route that blood flow out of the head, and that takes the pressure off. Some people have also found that if you put an ice pack near your skull or even on the top of your head and you do a warm foot bath, that this actually has that same effect. It helps you to dilate the capillaries down in your feet and actually restrict blood flow a little bit where it's excessive up in your head. So this is the Qigong version. You could do this meditation, but you can also try that other. And then as well, you're not restricted to these methods. You could go and learn biofeedback, and many people have had some good success with that in helping to sort of regulate their own circulation to create more comfort and less pain. So that's beach vacation meditation. And just to recap, so we had clearing stagnation from the liver, and in this case I want you to think of smoothing it, and there's a little bit of releasing. And then we also did go into some dispersive exercises, some downward directing exercises, and then tonifying the liver, blood, and yin. And then finally we have this capstone pose of the beach vacation. You can pick any of those categories, find the practices that work for you, find how long you are able to practice. If you try to do too much Qigong and it stresses you out, that's going against the goal. So pick a length of practice you can do, pick the practices that work best for you, and then just get those basic functions, and you'll have a really nice medical Qigong protocol for headaches and migraines. See you soon.